Man, so we shoot this pilot. And I remember I made a comment in the pilot about healthcare, and I brought up bankruptcy and how I filed for bankruptcy. My appendix ruptured in 2000, covered the Democratic National Convention, and how I didn't have any health insurance. And I said, man, that hurt a bruh. So I remember one of the executives at CNN, Ken Giles, who's still there. And Ken, I got along great, but he actually said this. I went to his office as we were going over he goes, be careful using words like brother. We don't want to scare off white viewers. And look at his ass.
He actually told you that?
Straight up. I looked at his ass like. Then he tells me he showed the pilot to his wife and she agreed. And I'm thinking, ooh, the white wife agreed. I'm like, dude, really? I'm like, we got Larry King over here giving Yiddish statements, all kind of stuff. And you tripping because I said, bruh, straight up. I said, bruh. I said, man, these folks are a trip. So Obama agrees with the pilot. So, man, we get to the election. So this is the first night. It's Iowa. Cats out of D.C., they always ran the political stuff. They wasn't feeling a brother at all. They didn't want to use me because I didn't get hired through D.C. I got hired through program development in New York. Okay, so the D.C. cats didn't know me. I didn't meet their standards or whatever the hell, so they didn't want to use me. So I remember me and Bill Bennett were on CNN that afternoon. I was killing his ass. I'm talking about killing Bill. We were in the fourth floor studio. There was a partition. He was on the other side, and I'm just destroying his ass. And so then we walked up the set. He was like, "Damn, you got me good there." I was like, "I damn sure did." And so Sam Feist, who's the number 2, who's now the number 1 bureau chief. So Sam comes down to walk Bill upstairs to show him the studio. I'm standing right there. So I was like, well, shit, I'm going to follow their ass to the damn studio. So I'm walking behind them, and I was supposed to be debating James Carville that night, but they had pulled them off the air because they were advising Hillary Clinton on some stuff. So I was like, yo, what's up between me and James? Oh, no. Sam goes, and we'll figure something out, like this blow off. And I was like, okay. So, man, I go see, we see in the studio, the hustle and bustle. So, man, I got an office there. So they don't even tell me, man, what time the food come. So I stumble upon that. So by 6 o'clock, I'm trying to find out what the exit polling data. Ain't nobody helping me with that. I was like, oh, okay, that's how we doing. But I ain't tripping. So, man, by 7 o'clock hits, we live. So we all the contributors, we down there. So they got the A-team on. So, man, we sitting there chilling. 8 o'clock comes. Ain't nobody called, coach, ain't nobody put me in the game. Sitting on the bench. Okay, I'm chilling. All right. 9 o'clock comes. Ain't nobody put me in the game. Coach ain't even looking my way. Okay. So I'm sitting there, so now reports start coming in and they like, oh, early Obama's in the lead, whatever the heck. And one of the reporters on air, she says, Obama, we know he's here in Iowa. Not sure where he's at right now. He's having dinner with family and friends and the staff right now. That's what I typed, sent him an email. They're like, oh, really? So then they're like, so he wins. Then they're like, so we're not sure when Obama's going to be coming to the convention center. He's going to be leaving dinner in 20 minutes. Send an email. So Katubi comes over. She goes, oh, my God, where you getting this from? I said, the person sitting next to his ass at dinner. If y'all asses put me on TV, y'all would know this shit versus me telling you off air. And so then all of a sudden, then it comes in. It's coming in. So now Obama wins. Oh, my God. Place goes crazy. Black man wins Iowa. And so they like a dog in heat trying to get him on air. Roland, anybody you can get Obama for a beeper? Now, what a beeper means is basically him calling to the studio, not being on camera. I was like, yeah, I'll try. So I call Candace Tolliver, who was one of the Prez folks. And I said, CNN wants Obama. I said, they ain't put my ass on TV all night. I said, if you motherfuckers put him on the air, I'm not on, I'm going to beat the shit out of y'all. Don't your ass put him on the air. She's like, Roland, he is not doing any TV other than he's giving his speech. He's doing nothing. I was like, good. Hung up. Now, Stephanie finally going into the control room. She's like, yo, we need to get this dude on the air. He got inside information we ain't got. So John Klein goes, well, get him on the air. So finally get him on the air. I think I probably got on that night for 1 minute and 37 seconds. Whole night. 1:37. All right. So next day, Obama wins. He does. Now, I had already gotten word he's going to give me an interview at 2 p.m. for WVON radio. We had a morning show. Well, first of all, that's in the afternoon. My morning show already over. So, man, I'm sitting there, and I'm like, so Obama does one interview on the night, the day after he wins Iowa, the history-making win. He does one interview, me. So now I'm sitting in my office like, some bitches barely put me on TV last night, blew me off. I'm like, I need to get back at their ass. How we gonna do this? And so then it occurred to me, I said, wait a minute. I said, I can do Obama. I can do a phoner. I said, they wanted a beeper last night. Why don't I have Obama call the control room? I do the interview from the same spot Wolf stood in last night, and we do the radio interview like it's a TV interview, and we run the audio on radio, and then CNN gonna run this on TV because Obama ain't talked to nobody all day. I go to John Klein, the president of CNN US. Loves it. They got this exclusive. Nope, he did not, no one. He had lost his voice, but he still did the interview. So what happens? It's exactly what happens. So, the DC people are hyped. Oh my God, we got an exclusive. So they call me, Roland, can we call this, it was Patricia DiCarlo. Hey, can we call this a CNN exclusive? No. You can call this a Roland Martin WVON radio exclusive. You only get to run it because I also work here. That's what happened. Interview runs, I go to John Klein's office. He goes, you know what? I think I'm going to go put a bug in Sam's ear to be sure to get you some more airtime come Tuesday for New Hampshire. That's why that night, that Tuesday, that's when I was on at 7 o'clock and was on the A team the entire election because that's what happened. The moral of the story is, first of all, don't get frustrated. Don't get upset. Get even. Show them who you are. Show them your skill set. And when it's time to deliver the punch, you deliver a clean punch and you will score a clean knockout. And that's exactly what happened. And that thing happened, and that's how that thing began to build. And that's how all his folks learned about me. I taught them about politics. And to this day, people come up to me, people who have run for office, who say, I learned politics watching you when Obama ran. To this day, people still come up to me saying I was a kid. I didn't know anything about this stuff, and I learned it because of you. Brothers who were in prison have come up to me. People who were in other countries have done the exact same thing. And the thing was, before I got hired, I sat in the lobby. It was CNN Center was on Columbus Circle. And I sat in that lobby, and this is exactly what I said. God, if it is your will for me to be at CNN at this time in history, make it happen. That was the literal prayer I said sitting in the lobby. And that's actually what happened. But I also knew I was never going to be there forever. So while I was there, people don't understand. All these people out here, oh man, Roland got black. We love CNN. I was with TV.
No, you was at TV One. I was with
TV One.
Yep.
3 years before CNN. I didn't leave TV One. I joined Tom Joyner in October 2008. John Klein literally asked me in 2009, well, you could be doing all this other stuff, this TV One, Tom Joyner stuff. They wanted me to leave. They wanted me to focus solely on CNN. And I said no.
Why? Why was that?
Because this is what I said. He says, it was an Italian restaurant across from CNN in One Columbus Circle. He goes, and me and John got along great. We still do. Where are you going to give up all this other stuff, TV One and Tom Joyner and all these speeches and everything, and focus just on CNN? I said, when are you going to give me a 5-day-a-week show? See, when I negotiated my deal at CNN, I had a 2-tier contract. I had a contributor contract and a show host contract. We negotiated both up front. So if I became a show host, I was going to get paid $600,000 first year. We already had the contract. And I was like, you're going to make a 5-day-a-week host. Then I said that I might think about it. See, I always this is the thing that people understand. Going back to high school, I always understood the power of having access to a platform. So yes, CNN was CNN in 200 countries, but they could still say no. Mm-hmm. But I had TV One. And then what happened, I knew I was ready because I'll never forget when I did 4 pilots, I was not ready to host a show. And I remember sitting in September 2008, sitting down with, September 2007, sitting down with Jim Walton. And he had a pair of boxing gloves. I think it was signed by Muhammad Ali. And on his desk, he said, I'm going to use a boxing analogy. He says, we think that you're a better counter puncher than puncher. I said, I know. I said, I want you to get me with your talent coaches, and I want you to give them the notes of all the things that I need to do to improve. And that's what I'm going to work on. So when I come back, I'm ready to host. He called my agent. He was like, the meeting didn't go like I thought it was going to go. I was always aware of my skill set, of what I was good at, what I was not good at. So I knew in 2007 I wasn't ready to host a show. Then after that, he said, we can try some other pilots. I knew in 2008 I was ready. I knew I was ready to host a weekly show. When I went to them, I remember Obama wins, Glenn Beck leaves, I send them an email. I said, I want that slot. John Klein calls me. I'm in the airport. Hey, here's our plan. We're gonna have you as like, they put a plan together real quick. I was gonna be the backup to Campbell Brown. Whatever. Well, here's the problem. Didn't nobody know Campbell Brown was gonna announce the next week she was pregnant. So what happened was they already announced I was gonna be filling in for her. So boom, she announced she's pregnant. So then I got the 2-month fill-in stint when she went on maternity leave. The problem is that it was an awful experience because they didn't let me do me. They stripped me of who I was, didn't let me, and then, in matter of fact, Jim Walton, to his credit, after the 2-month stint ended in the end of May 2009, I met with him in September. He said, we did you no favors. He said, we sold you, he said, we built you and build you as one thing, and we sold you as another. He said, the ratings of that show would not be held against you here. Well, actually, they were held against me. They were held against me internally and externally. It said, oh, Roland Martin can host a nightly show on prime time and it won't do well. But it wasn't Roland Martin. The format changed 3 times in 4 weeks. It was all over the place. There was no consistency. I wasn't doing me. I felt like I was in a straitjacket with duct tape and handcuffs on. That's what it felt like. The last show, if there was a flight out of New York at 11 p.m. that night, I would have been on it. I wanted no parts of CNN, no parts of New York, because it was a horrible experience. Because I knew sitting there, I couldn't do me. And so I knew, and then during that period, they said, hey, they had talked about launching a weekly show. So the plan was for me to fill in for her, and after that, they would launch a weekly show. They tell me, oh, because of economics. Well, that was bullshit because I already had a sponsor. I had got my own main sponsor. Southwest Airlines was going to be the sponsor of the show. I already had them locked up. The ad agency was going to buy it. So I knew that. I talked to them. So that's when I called. I was 100 feet out of John Klein's office, and I called John the Routers at TV One. I said, CNN's not going to give me a weekly show. He said, well, they're not going to give you one. We're going to give you one. And in July, at Essence, we announced Washington Watching TV One, and we launched that sucker September 2009. So I knew later, why did I not leave my other stuff behind? Because I knew you had to have an outlet. So if one says no, they would say yes. And if they say no, and they say no, they can say yes. And that's the piece. Never ever be in a position where somebody can say no to your dream and it goes nowhere. And so why is YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, why is this now so important? Because when I wasn't waiting for someone to say, Roland can host a show. So when Washington Watch transitioned to News One Now from a weekly to a daily, News One Now lasted 4 years. When News One Now ended, I wasn't going to sit around and hope MSNBC call or CNN will call back or somebody else will call. Like, no, I'm going to launch and create my own. And that's exactly what I did. That's the problem for so many people. They are waiting. This is where white validation comes in. They're waiting for somebody to validate them. Say, you're now good enough. Now we've tapped you. You can do it. When what I did was I tapped myself. That's why we go from one show, 1 hour to 2 hours. And now I go from one show to my own network. Now I got 5 other shows on the network. Now I got 3-4 shows in development, and we're building the network. We're now on we're now on Amazon News. We're launching on Amazon Freevee. We're negotiating with 5 other distribution platforms. All this is in 4.5 years. 4.5 years. Again, that's 4.5 years, which was 6 years after I left CNN. I left CNN in April 2013. We launched News One Now in November 2013. News One Now ends December 2017. Folks are like, oh my God, man, please go back to CNN, MSNBC. Why? Why do I want to ask somebody permission? Can I go cover this story? No, I'm good. I can do it myself.